Our next guest is actually an old neighbor of mine and a fine fellow and someone who really caught the imagination of all of us on June the 20th, 2000. I don't know if you remember that evening, but it was one of the most remarkable days, events, and evenings that I've ever attended. You may recall it was a crisis over health care in Prince George. We were really concerned about funding for the region and for health outside of the lower mainland area, and the whole city mobilized. The interesting thing, I don't know if you recall this a little bit, but I was doing a lot of media at the time. The whole problem was resolved at noon that day. Nevertheless, 7,000 of us turned up that night at the multiplex, now the CN Center, and just really told the government of the day what we thought about health care, how it could be improved in our area, and what had to be done. And it was one of the most remarkable turnouts I think I have ever seen in Prince George, and I have actually ever seen in my political life. And I've been at a lot of good ones, but that really took the cake. The highlight speaker and the guy who really captivated all of us and made it all come together, as I said, is a neighbor of mine, a really good friend, and a fellow who's been around town for some time, but the one who captured our interest and got us mobilized was Dr. Mike Moran. Would you please welcome Mike to the stage, please?
Thank you, everyone. As Bruce said, the last time I was stood in front of the city of Prince George was some 8 years ago, after a night of no sleep and 7,000 of you in front. We had been up negotiating some minor medical issues with the provincial government. We succeeded in that, and I come today seeing a problem that I think is no less important. I'm going to talk in a slightly different perspective than most of the rest of the people tonight, because my views from the medical side of things. Today we're going to talk about the issues and the opportunities, not particularly the problems. I'd like to look back on two events, one of which Bruce just talked about, and the other was UNBC. Mike Harcourt and Bruce Strachan were very much involved in this, and they can tell way more details than I can. But in 1987, a public meeting here got 16,000 signatures, and the people that signed this petition that was to the provincial government all paid $5 to sign that petition. I dare say there aren't many other cities in the country that could get people to pay to sign a petition. There was lots of political resistance to UNBC. UNBC opened in 1994. My question is, has it worked? The simple answer, I think, comes from Maclean's magazine. This year, Maclean's, and I quote, "best in the West." So the next part is from my perspective. In 1999 and 2000, we were having significant medical problems in Prince George. We were losing doctors on a regular basis. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I rely on other doctors to allow me to practice. I need anesthesiologists or I can't do my job. In Prince George, we were losing physicians at such a rate that it was looking like I wouldn't be able to do my job and I would have to leave as well. This, in 1999, we formed the Northern Medical Society, and I was lucky, or maybe unlucky, to become the first president of that. We negotiated for a long time with the provincial government, and eventually the multiplex rally happened. 7,000 of you showed up, and we did strike a deal with the provincial government to retain and recruit physicians in Prince George. My question is how successful were we? Again, I look at it in my terms. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. When I first came to Prince George, shortly after I arrived, I was the sole practicing orthopedic surgeon here. We have 6 now, and we have a very stable group. Most of the medical specialties are similar. There were thousands of people in Prince George who didn't have family doctors. Now we're recruiting doctors on a regular basis. The problems aren't gone, but they're disappearing. Most impressive, I think, when we talked to the government, we said we need to train people, physicians, in the areas where they may come to practice, and we said rural. And what we were talking about was residents, so doctors that are qualified but are learning their specialties. What the city of Prince George heard was, we need a medical school. And against all odds, went and got a medical school. That was 8 years ago. The whole thing was done in 4 years. Last year we graduated our first medical group. So why tell these two stories? Well, this is what I know. We have UNBC, we have the medical school, we're getting a cancer agency. Prince George, this is examples of what can be done. Downtown revitalization is crucial. The opportunity is available. It just needs to be done now. I see these things from a different perspective. Medicine, we're still short, especially downtown. We have big issues here, serious city center problems that aren't going away. Provincial government now is talking about primary care reform. Today's Citizen, they talked about social services going to one location to improve access and improve care. I see with primary care reform the same sorts of things happening in the downtown. Localizing things, letting people get access to care and better access and better treatment. This should help revitalize the whole downtown area. So Prince George has shown that it can solve the problems that arise with UNBC and the medical school. Now it's the turn of the downtown. I think the issue's gone on far too long. It's time to make revitalization of this area a priority. I urge you all to get involved. The citizens of Prince George have a history of proving that the impossible can be done. This is quite possible, and let's get on and do it. Thank you very much.